Hello everybody! Today I'm going to show you 10 tricks and tips on using a curling wand. This is really meant for beginners and people who have been struggling with it because let's face it, curling wands are a totally different beast than curling irons and they can be a bit awkward. So here are some tips to help you get started. Now obviously the most important thing is to please be careful because these wands get really hot. Some of them have temperature settings but a lot of them don't. So be careful. Wear the glove and practice, and eventually you will be an old pro. So here are my tips. Thanks for watching. Tip number 1, knowing what style of curl you're going to get with the style of wand that you're using. I have 5 different styles that I'll show you, and there are more out there, but these are just the 5 that I have. So this is a big fatty. This one is 32 millimeters. And with this, you're going to get, on my hair, because my hair is pretty short, it really just sort of gives me volume. If you have longer hair, it'll give you those nice loose waves. This is a medium-sized wand. This one is 25 millimeters. And with this, you'll get a slightly tighter curl. On my hair, this works perfect for the loose waves. If you have longer hair, it'll be a little tighter wave, but still a nice big loose curl. This is a smaller one. This one is 19 millimeters. And with this one, you're going to get the nice tight ringlet style curls. With this one is a tapered, and I've seen tapered ones to varying degrees. Some of them get really skinny, some of them are fatter. This particular one is 25 to 18 millimeters. And with this, you get sort of the looser curl up at the top, winding down to a tighter curl at the bottom, so that, you know, it kind of whoops down and then gets curly here. And then I have a reverse curling wand, which is the same tapered effect except going the opposite way, so that you get the tight curls here that then loosen up into bigger curls here. This is great if you want really curly vavoom kind of a hair, because you really get the curls in close to your scalp so that, you know, it gets really curly all over. And this one is from Bedhead. This is the Curly Pops line. They also have one that's like bumpy and you get sort of uneven curls. You know, there are other styles, but this one is from Bedhead. And these other ones are from Amika. I have a set of 4 from Amika that I love. There's a great tutorial by Samantha Shuerman that uses, she actually has the Numi reverse curling wand, but you can see she gets these great curls, and I'll put the link down in the bottom for that. Tip number 2 is sectioning your hair. Especially for beginners, this is so important because it'll make things so much easier for you. The way that I like to do it is I separate my hair in 2 halves. I have pretty thick hair and I have a fair amount of hair, so I usually just do 2 halves, and that's usually enough for the look I'm going for. If I want more tighter, smaller curls, then I might do 3 sections, but 2 is usually enough. So I'm gonna actually get rid of these bangs because I'm not gonna curl them, so I'm just gonna tuck these away over here. Boop, bye-bye bangs. Okay, so I've sectioned off the top bit. Let me grab my other little clippy here. Now, this is different from what you'll usually see. I like to clip back the bottom part and start curling the top first. This helps me for a couple of different reasons. The first being that when you curl the bottom first and then you let the top down, either your straight hair is going to intermingle with your curls and get all messed up, that always happens to me, or you pull the bottom part back to keep it out of the way and you stretch out your curls. So what I like to do is I curl the top first, and once it's all curled, I can bunch it back on top of my head, but I just sort of loosely pile the curls, and then I use one of these clips to keep it up there, and then that way the curls stay intact and they can cool up there while you're curling the rest of your hair, and nothing gets messed up. So that's why I do it that way. Okay, so I've got my top section. Now I'm just going to go and I've got the whole bit. I'm just going to section it in half, And, you know, obviously my part is not even here. You can do it however you like. But I section it in half because I'm going to do one half of my head at a time. And this brings me to tip number 3. Switch hands for different sides of your head. If you try to use the same hand, okay, because you want to hold it this way while you're curling on this side of your head. If you try to use the same hand over here, you will burn yourself because it gets very awkward and you can't really wrap it around very well. So switch hands. That's why I section it in 2 halves, so that I can do this side of my head, switch the glove and everything, and then go to the other side of my head. Tip number 4, use a heat protector. There are all kinds of different ones that you can try out. I know Paul Mitchell has a great one that you spray on, and it helps keep the style as well. I like to use the spray-on ones that you use right after the shower so that it helps with the blow dryer as well. It doesn't matter which one you use, find one that works for you, but use a heat protector because these things are really hot and they will burn your hair. Tip number 5, the time that your hair is spent on the curling wand is directly related to the intensity of the curl. So the longer you have it on there, the tighter the curl is going to be. If you want a looser wave, don't leave it on there as long. And be careful when you're first starting out because, as I said, these wands get really, really hot and you don't want to burn your hair. And I'm sure we've all seen the video of the poor girl who burned a big old chunk off of her hair. Don't do it. So be careful. Tip number 6 is wrapping the hair around the wand. There are a couple of different ways to do this. Now, the first way is you just hold a chunk, right? It's kind of messy, but you just hold a chunk and you wrap it around, and you see how it kind of twists. Your hair is twisting around the wand. What that will do is create a curl that kind of goes this way and then that way and then this way, which is great for a more natural looking curl. If you want your hair to be more of the perfect ringlet, what you need to do is wrap it around and then move your fingers so that you keep that hair flat against the wand. I hope you can tell what I'm doing here. And then that way you'll get that nice, smooth, perfect ringlet. Let me just show you here. So wrapping it around flat against the wand. Moving my fingers so that I don't burn them. See, and then you get this perfect little ringlet curl. Alright, so I'm going to wind this one around. This is the fastest, easiest way to do it, but again, it just kind of depends on the curl that you're going for. So there you go. See, it just sort of wraps differently. It's more of a wave. So if you're going for more of a beachy wave, then that is the way to do it, to wind it. And if you want more of a ringlet style, then flatten it out and wrap it around. Tip number 7 is the curling direction. Depending, again, on what style you want, if you want your hair to be a more uniform curl, then you curl them all the same way, all going forward, the next piece going forward. If you want them to be more of a wild, loose curl, this works great with like the beachy wave look, curl one piece forward and the next piece backward. And this will help separate the curls. Tip number 8. If you want the ends of your hair to be curled, you have to hold them on the wand. In most tutorials, you'll see people holding the hair out a bit, and you're going to have straight ends. And a lot of times it doesn't matter, especially if you're going for more of a loose wave and you just have that little bit of hair that's poking out. But if you want that end of hair curled, you have to hold the hair onto the curling wand. Wear your glove. Now the way that I like to do this is I wrap my hair around, and then when I get to that end bit, I keep my hands moving. So I get it on here. Now my curling wand is not on right now because I don't want to fry my hair while I'm talking. But you have to keep your hand moving. and that will keep it from burning. So you just slide your fingers around and around and get those little bits in there until you've counted to however long you're going to keep it on there, a couple seconds, and then you release it, and those little ends will be curled. Tip number 9. Let your hair cool before you style it. Once you have all of your beautiful curls in, let it be. Go do something else, have a cup of coffee, finish putting on your makeup, whatever, but let them cool completely, and that will help seal in the curl. Because if you start styling right away, you're going to lose a lot of your curls. And tip number 10 is styling your hair with your fingers versus a brush. Now, if you want your piecey little curls, use your fingers, do this, brush it out, scrunch it up, do this sort of thing. If you want a more tame look, especially if you've curled all of your curls going the same way and you want them to piece together so that it looks like one giant curl or like a nice wave, use a paddle brush. And you can totally do this because these curls are nice and strong, and you just brush them together and, kind of do this sort of a thing, and then they'll all curl together. You can curl them under like this, and they'll smooth out and be a nice, smooth, uniform look. But if you want, wild curls, use your fingers. So I decided to go for twisting it around the wand and getting that sort of beachy wave look going on. This is the finished product. You can see it's just, some piecey, wonky waves that kind of, just look casual. So that's the look I went for today. So I hope that you liked those tips and tricks. Let me know if you have anything else that you think is noteworthy or anything that works for you that I didn't mention. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I hope that this helps. Good luck. Happy curling.